Good morning and welcome back to Tightlining Maryland. I am in PA and I am at Muddy Creek, the fly fishing only section. I'm at the bottom half of it, or bottom section of it, I guess I should say, and I'm going to work my way upstream. It is unique because of the fact that if anybody fishes this area, maybe you can chime in if you have any information, but the rain that we must have gotten from Florence and the other storms must have really taken its toll on this river. And although the water looks great this morning, pretty much every feeder bridge that I tried to use was closed. If you looked at like just the areas as you drove along some parts of the river, you could see that like debris had gotten swept up. So the long and short of it is, I had a really tough time accessing this creek today, and luckily GPS and me looking at maps and trying to figure it out to get to where I needed to be worked out. But I'm going to fish the fly fishing only section today for a little bit. I intend to try to hit a trib or two of this because I know that they have wild brown trout in it for those tribs, but I'm going to focus a fair amount of my attention for at least probably 2 hours of this trip to the fly fishing only section. I just hope that the fish are still in here because it is a stock stream, and although you get holdovers and some wild fish, the reality is with what seemingly was a really, really bad storm, I just don't know how it's going to fish. But somebody dropped me a line and said that they just put some in from TU, from Trout Unlimited, that is. So hopefully, this is going to fish well. And I'm out here at first light, so I feel pretty confident that I can get into some fish pretty quick today. So thanks for tuning back in, and sorry for the kind of update on the stream, but I just figured I'd see if anybody who fishes this has any information, and if so, just drop a line in the bottom. And in the meantime, enjoy some hopefully good fishing. So on my first drift with my new rig that I just set up, I'd started with a streamer, but I switched over. I got a wild brown trout. So I'm gonna give a little anecdotal story to this just because I feel like it's necessary. So not only do I get it on a hare's ear, which is great because it's a natural fly, but this particular hare's ear right here, I tied on my last trip. Well, first off, let's get him released, but a wild brownie out of Muddy Creek. So this fly is special to me because the other day I tied up a couple mops, a couple hare's ears, which is this fly right here, and I tied four hare's ears, 3 mops. I get to the fishing spot and I feel around. I'm like, I only have 3 hare's ears and 3 mops. I could have sworn I tied 4. Well, later on that week, after not thinking about it any longer, my wife comes downstairs to, by my fly tying station where I'm sitting doing something, and she yells out with this large shriek, "Oh my God!" And sure enough, she stepped on this particular hare's ear right here. And luckily I tie on barbless hook. She took it like a champ, probably better than what I ever will, but I had to take that hook out of her foot. So I jokingly told her I'll probably get into some fish this week with that particular fly, given that it's got a little bit of blood on it to give it a little bit of flash. So figure I'd just share that story with you. That was my first drift through this particular spot, and I picked up a fish. So very excited. I'm going to try to get some stuff on the opposing side of this out of the faster water and see if we can't pick up some more hits. May have to add some weight because it's taking a little bit to get down. Just had another one. Always set the hook at the end of your drift. Just read about that, and I committed the sin. Hey! I did it, I just didn't set it hard enough, but I pulled a wild brownie right off the bottom. So that is a testament to learning from your mistakes, just reading up about, you know, things that can put you in a better chance to be successful. So there's another one. Looks like these wild brownies today in here are a bit hungry. So that's our third strike and second fish to net. And there he goes, that popped off in the net. Another wild brownie. Like I said, I heard they just stocked it, so I'm eager to see if we can't pull out a sizable brown or rainbow. So I just wanted to get this section of the creek on film, because as I look ahead, it's just such a great pool. You know, you have this fog over the water, you have this tree that's kind of like out in the water, the overhang. I mean, it's absolutely perfect for how you draw up a picture of a you know, fly fishing trip. But with that said, I also saw a very, very large fish go airborne for whatever is hatching right now. I said that there's a caddis or an October caddis, and it looked like probably, let's call it a 16-inch fish conservatively, go airborne for something on top. So, you know, I'm not set up necessarily, although with the mono rig I can kind of do a little bit of both, of dry fly with dropper, but I'm not going to be able just to cast to him, you know, and send a caddis his way from distance, or you know, put a dropper like a grasshopper on there and cast to him. But I just had to share that, just how this looks coming up. It is just absolutely stunning. So I just made a prospecting cast, and it appears that maybe a wild brownie picked it up. Yeah, so let's get him into net. I kind of just chucked it out, and he came from probably 5 feet away and chased it in. Not the big one I saw coming up, but we'll take it. So still happy to get our hands on some wild trout. Actually, this one's stocked. This is a stocked brownie. Stocked fish. Small for a stocked fish. Usually they don't stock them this small, but we'll take them any way you can get them. Yeah, I just saw him come across the stream and pick it up, so I set the hook, and there he was. But yeah, that's a stocked fish. His colors are dull. He's got no blues. His pinks are really oranges. Tail's a little beat up, but healthy fish, and back he goes. But let that be a lesson learned, that sometimes you just got to make a cast and follow the drift out. So I'm going to keep doing that and see what happens. Saw another one. Same thing. I just kind of saw him come across the stream and set the hook. Alright, Muddy Creek is treating me well. This one's got a little bit better colors. Still looks like a stocked fish. And off that came, but yeah, stocked brownie. A little bit better size than the other one. But eagerly taking this mop fly here this morning. And they're chasing it. So let's get him back. There he goes. So I've hooked into my better fish of the day. I wouldn't say it's a great fish, but it's a nice rainbow. So we're out of the browns now. He's gonna take me for a run. So he's got a little bit of power to him, but got a good butt section on this rod. He's got great colors. Feeling just a little bit of drag. I don't want to play with him too much and lose him, so I'm gonna bring him in and just fight him. He took the mop fly. And there we go. Colored up nice and well. Probably a solid, I would say, 14-inch fish. Definitely a healthy, fatter fish too. Got him right in the top of the lip. and out it pops. But a Muddy Creek rainbow, back to fight another day. So you could kind of tell that there was going to be a nice fish in here. You know, I can kind of tell in this section right here, coming up, then that rock, then another set of rocks. I mean, this is where some of your better fish are going to be hiding out. You know, I've been in relatively shallow pools most of the day, shallow water, and you're starting to get some like deeper holes, and that's where these bigger fish are going to find refuge. So I got a good drift, you know, right by the tree, let it come downstream, and he picked it right up and we set the hook. So I'm gonna, like I said, turn it off and wait to get our next fish. So I picked up another colorful, rainbow in the next hole. A little bit smaller, but nevertheless got a bright pink on him. So a little bit more tan than the other one. Bigger head, but kind of thin body. Yeah, looking a little thin. Probably not eating the best. So he was tucked up in this softer current by this log that's in the water. So again, another prime lie. Sometimes you just gotta hunt for those and take what you can get. So sure enough, that's where he was supposed to be. Let's try to get another one out of this hole. Woo! Holy moly! I almost walked into this little creature and he would have tore my ass up. So that is the biggest spider of that kind that I've encountered while walking, so I gotta be a little bit more careful here. Oh man, wild. Always keep your eyes open. So I moved up to a stretch I've never fished before, and I've got a rainbow on. I just lost a wild brown a little bit ago, but probably a nice holdover fish, one in which took my hare's ear, but right in the top of the lip, should pop right out. There it goes. But definitely a new stretch, not easy to access, especially given the high water, but tough to get down here, but I guess all the worth it. So let's get him back. So I just hooked into a really nice small stream brown trout. Oh, he's trying to run me into a rock. He is really colored up and really pissed off that I hooked him. So we're gonna try to keep him upstream. Try to keep him under the water. It's a good fish. There we go. That is a nice wild brown trout for sure. Wasn't sure what we were going to get into in this stream, because it is tiny water, but this is a beautiful fish. Beautiful fish. Probably gonna be the biggest one I get out of here, but you never know. Let's get him back, and off he goes. So he took the mop, sitting in about 18 inches of water. But luckily it's I don't know if it's public water per se, but one of the owners of a shop basically said you're free to park, you know, right here, and that's exactly what I did. And then I've just been walking upstream, so far so good. After getting shut down in one of my other PA opportunities based on access, it's certainly nice to get some access here today. So just hooked into another wild brownie. He took the hare's ear this time, so we're gonna get him unhooked. Pretty fish. There he goes. We're gonna release him back. All right. So, I want to emphasize one key point, which is the book that I purchased, and that book was Keystone Fly Fishing. And I do have some people that might be coming up on ATV, but with that said, we'll see what they have to say. For now, though, just back to the point of the Keystone Fly Fishing book. That book has put me on some water that I would have otherwise never known about. And not only that, but got me into some pretty fish too. So I want to encourage anybody that fishes PA waters to try to pick up Keystone Fly Fishing. So I'm coming up on a stretch that's gonna have a nice brown trout in it. I caught one earlier that was about 12 inches. Sorry, now I'm snagged, so I gotta fix that. But I caught one earlier, it was about 12 inches, and that was in a much smaller piece of holding water than what I'm about to get into. So with that said, felt like it was time to turn on the camera, because this body of water right up here is gonna yield the biggest brown trout out of the stream probably. So we'll see. Got to be careful. These are the types of streams that fish spook easy. Gonna have to fish the back of the pool, because you don't want to scare off something up into the head of the pool and therefore lose out on a good fish. There's our first, but he's off. He aggressively took the mop fly. Didn't even get to the bottom and he took it. So he came up and attacked. Get another drift in. Alright, we'll slide up a little bit. Slide up a bit more. I can definitely see some fish moving around on the bottom. Small, but fish. I did not set the hook well. I just lifted the rod tip. That was a nice fish. You probably saw me lift him. He got all the way to the surface. Great colors, probably a fish that was 13 plus inches. As I mentioned, was gonna hold a nice fish in here. Oh, that is brutal. So I can see a nice brown trout ahead of me, moved into the center current. I think to some degree because he saw me. So I'm letting him try to just ease in this pool, get comfortable, maybe start feeding again. And then I'm gonna try to get a drift in here. Should be him, and more than likely at least another fish or two up in this hole, because it gets deeper ahead of him. So feel pretty good about this particular spot. I'm gonna try to get a drift here in a second. Looks like he's opening his mouth a little bit and eating. Nice, sliding up into the hole. Going a little bit further away from me. I'm gonna move up with him then. Feed it. Try again. Get myself a little bit more off of this leader. Well, gotta untangle myself. I will turn the camera back on when I'm ready. Oh, lost one. This might have been the one that I saw. Not sure, can't tell. But what I do know is he is a nice fish and he's in the net. Another healthy wild brown trout here. Let's get him going. There he goes. Oh, see if we can't try to get one more out of this hole. Ooh. This one is the nicer one, for sure. For sure. And he is into the net. Fucking dick. So I'm in a perfect location for a trout to hold. Unfortunately, again, a glassy hole. But it's a little deeper, so we'll try it. Alright. So, we've got a wild brown that decided to come out from that deep hole. So we're gonna bring him downstream so to not ruin the other hole, and then hopefully slide back up in it here shortly. Let's bring him in the net. There we go. And the hook is out. Look at that fish. Beautiful. Red on it. Never gets old. There we go.